Football is a game of inches, but sometimes it feels like it's a game of heartbreak.
Brady down at midfield.
Patriot Nation right now is holding its collective breath.
Whether it's because of the in-season implications or the gruesome nature of the injury, we're going to take a look back and pick out every NFL franchise's most devastating injury of all time. Arizona Cardinals, Carson Palmer, 2014. The Arizona Cardinals were rolling along with a 7-1 record back in 2014 when quarterback Carson Palmer suffered a torn ACL. Just 1 year before, general manager Steve Keim acquired two-time Pro Bowler Carson Palmer for a pair of late-round draft picks. It was an incredible acquisition for the Cardinals, but once the 34-year-old suffered a torn ACL, well, it effectively ended any hopes that Arizona may have had at winning a Super Bowl championship. Atlanta Falcons, Jamal Anderson, 1999. Jamal Anderson was a beast in the late 90s. He rushed for 1,846 yards in 1998 and was a driving force in the Falcons making the Super Bowl. But everything just completely unraveled as his ACL gave out. Anderson was never the same again, and the Falcons would slip to the back of the pack, along with their star running back doing the same. Making it all the more painful, Anderson had missed 2 weeks of training camp and a contract dispute. Baltimore Ravens, Jamal Lewis, 2001. Lewis, who ran for 1,364 yards as a rookie the year prior and had a monster playoff performance en route to Baltimore's Super Bowl win, tore his ACL during training camp as the Ravens were trying to repeat. They still had a pretty solid squad, but they were not the same threat that they were with their bruising runner in the lineup. Buffalo Bills, Damar Hamlin, 2023. Damar Hamlin's cardiac arrest on Monday Night Football was a moment that kind of transcended sports. His recovery is a miracle, but the emotional toll on the Bills and their fans is a wound that won't soon heal. A very scary moment for all involved. Carolina Panthers, Luke Kuechly, 2020. Luke Kuechly's retirement was heartbreaking, but understandable. Years of concussions forced him to walk away to prioritize his health, leaving a gaping hole in Carolina's defense that has yet to be filled. Chicago Bears, Gale Sayers, 1970. Gale Sayers was the 1965 Rookie of the Year after scoring 22 touchdowns, an NFL record at the time that would stand for over a decade. Bears fans were immediately enchanted, but he would only play 3 more full seasons, and in 2 of them, he would lead the NFL in rushing, before ultimately being forced into retirement by a very gnarly knee injury. Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, 2020. It took the Cincinnati Bengals literally decades to get a franchise quarterback, and needless to say, they were pumped to see the way that Joe Burrow took to the role. Bengals fans thought they had a Chiefs-like run in the making, but disaster struck when he suffered a devastating knee injury that ultimately ended his season early. Cleveland Browns, Nick Chubb, 2023. In week 2 of the 2023 season, Nick Chubb, one of the most beloved players in the Browns organization, and quite frankly, the league, suffered a terrifying knee injury near the goal line against Pittsburgh. The injury was so severe that it required 2 surgeries to repair, and though he has since returned to action, the effects still seem to linger. Dallas Cowboys, Michael Irvin, 1999. The playmaker had his career cut short in a game against the Eagles when a tackle left him with a spinal cord injury that terrified fans. Irvin's fiery competitiveness defined the Cowboys dynasty, but his abrupt retirement left a void that Dallas struggled to fill for years. Denver Broncos, Terrell Davis, 1999. Coming off a 2,000-yard MVP season and back-to-back Super Bowl wins, Terrell Davis was poised for more, but a torn ACL in 1999 ended his dominance and left Broncos fans wondering how much more their Hall of Fame back could have accomplished. Detroit Lions, Chuck Hughes, 1971. Lions wide receiver Chuck Hughes collapsed on the field in a 1971 game against the Bears and later passed away from a heart attack. This remains one of the darkest moments in NFL history, a tragedy that forever changed the way that teams approach player safety. Green Bay Packers, Sterling Sharpe, 1994. Sterling Sharpe was a record-setting receiver and Brett Favre's favorite target, but a neck injury in 1994 forced him into early retirement, robbing Green Bay of a Hall of Fame talent just as they were becoming Super Bowl contenders. Houston Texans, J.J. Watt, 2016. Watt had already been battling through a groin injury for 6 or 7 weeks when he tore the core muscles so severely that he was forced out of their wildcard round matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs. Following the surgery, just getting out of bed and walking down the hallway was almost unbearable for him, and it got to the point that he flirted with retirement. This right here was the beginning of a purgatory-like period for both Watt and the franchise. Indianapolis Colts, Peyton Manning, 2013. While his surgery resulted from a series of injuries rather than a singular one, it was also the first domino to fall in the unthinkable happenings in the Indianapolis Colts parting ways with their longtime MVP quarterback. Only then to see him go on to win an MVP and Super Bowl over in Denver. Jacksonville Jaguars, Fred Taylor, 2004. 04 was a rare period of prosperity for an embattled Jaguars franchise. That was until devastation struck and their star running back Fred Taylor went down with another injury. The Jaguars would go on to lose to the Houston Texans in the season finale and miss the playoffs completely without him. Kansas City Chiefs, Eric Berry, 2011. The Kansas City Chiefs were looking to build on their division title winning season from 2010, but once Eric Berry went down in the first game, everything fell apart. The defensive back was coming off a breakout rookie year that resulted in him being named to the Pro Bowl. It really looked like the Chiefs were building something special, and it took some time before they were able to recover. Las Vegas Raiders, Bo Jackson, 1991. Bo Jackson was an otherworldly talent, but his football career ended after a hip injury in a 1991 playoff game. Jackson's dual sport brilliance left fans wondering what heights he could have achieved if his career hadn't been cut short. Los Angeles Chargers, Drew Brees, 2005. Drew Brees injured his shoulder in the final game of the 2005 season, leading the Chargers to all but move on from him considering the way that they lowballed him following the offseason. This was a decision that changed the course of NFL history, as Brees went on to become a legend in New Orleans. Los Angeles Rams, Kurt Warner, 2002. Kurt Warner's injuries in 2002 marked the end of the greatest show on turf. Multiple broken fingers and eventually a broken hand sidelined Warner and led to his eventual benching, signaling the end of an iconic era for the Rams. Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa, 2022. Tua Tagovailoa's 2022 concussion was horrifying. Seeing him lie motionless on the field was a moment that shook the league, and it's had ripple effects in the time since with how we talk about player safety. Minnesota Vikings, Dante Culpepper, 2005. Dante Culpepper was a star, a quarterback who could beat you with both his arm or his legs. But unfortunately, a catastrophic knee injury in 2005 ended his run in Minnesota. For a franchise that always seems to be chasing its next great quarterback, Culpepper's injury felt like a cruel twist of fate. New England Patriots, Tom Brady, 2008. Tom Brady tearing his ACL in Week 1 of 2008 was a gut punch for Patriots fans. Fresh off a near-perfect season, New England had Super Bowl aspirations again. But Brady's injury threw everything into chaos and just wasted a year of the Moss Brady prime. New Orleans Saints, Bobby Herbert, 1991. Bobby Herbert had the Saints flying high at 6-0 in 1991, igniting hope in a city that had seen more heartbreak than triumph at that point. But a shoulder injury sidelined him for most of the season and stifled their early momentum. Herbert returned late in the season, and the Saints did sneak into the playoffs, but exited rather quickly. New York Giants, Jason Sehorn, 1998. During his early days, Jason Sehorn was one of the NFL's most dynamic cornerbacks, but his career trajectory changed in an instant during a preseason game in 1998. Returning a kickoff, a role he had no business playing, Sehorn tore his ACL and MCL, robbing him of the elite speed that made him a star and crushing Giants fans. New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, 2023. Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be the savior, the quarterback who would finally lift the Jets out of decades of mediocrity. But instead, his Achilles tear on the fourth play of the season in 2023 became the cruelest twist in a saga filled with heartbreak. After watching how the saga has played out ever since, it's safe to say that this is the most devastating injury for an admittedly cursed franchise. Philadelphia Eagles, Randall Cunningham, 1993. The next quarterback injury to discuss happened to Randall Cunningham in 1993. Cunningham had the Eagles flying high as the team began the year 4-0, and he was named Defensive Player of the Month in September. But during the fourth game, Cunningham fractured his leg and missed the rest of the season. The Eagles tried Bobby Brister and Ken O'Brien, but neither one was really able to do the job. Pittsburgh Steelers, Ryan Shazier, 2017. Ryan Shazier was the Steelers' defensive anchor, a linebacker with the speed and instincts to change games. But in 2017, everything changed. A headfirst tackle against the Bengals left Shazier motionless on the field. The spinal injury that he suffered there ended his season and eventually his career. San Francisco 49ers, Ronnie Lott, 1985. Ronnie Lott's decision to amputate part of his pinky after a brutal injury in 1985 is certainly the stuff of legends. Facing surgery and an 8-week recovery during the playoffs, Lott chose to have the tip of his finger removed so that way he could stay on the field. This one was epic, yes, but devastating nonetheless. Seattle Seahawks, Steve Largent, 1989. Steve Largent was the Seahawks' first superstar, a Hall of Famer who made clutch catches just look routine. But his final season in 1989 was marred by a broken elbow suffered on the dreaded turf at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The injury sidelined Largent for 6 games and caused him to post career lows in receptions and yards. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Carnell Cadillac Williams, 2007. Carnell Cadillac Williams burst onto the scene as a rookie in 2005, electrifying fans with his explosive, powerful running. But by 2007, injuries began to derail his career. A devastating knee injury that season was followed by another the next year. Tennessee Titans, Steve McNair, 2005. Steve McNair was a warrior who played through pain and carried the franchise on his back. But by 2005, the hits had added up, and a back injury ended his season prematurely. Washington Commanders, Alex Smith, 2018. Alex Smith's journey from NFL starter to an inspirational figure is both remarkable and gut-wrenching. In 2018, Smith suffered a horrific leg injury during a game against the Texans, snapping both his tibia and fibula. The image of him crumpled on the field was haunting, but it was only the beginning. Smith's recovery wasn't just about football, it was about survival. That injury led to a life-threatening infection and 17 total surgeries. He fought back, overcoming the odds most of us couldn't even dream of. But which do you think is your favorite team's most devastating injury of all time? What do you think we got right here? What do you think we got wrong? Was there anyone that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking that like button helps out a ton, and you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.